Anne, please tell me you did not do it again. Do what, Mum? Anne, you bought another handbag, another pair of shoes, another expensive perfume? Relax, Mum. Life is too short. We have to enjoy it. That is exactly what you always say. But one day, life will ask you a question you cannot answer. Mum, you worry too much. Money is meant to be spent. Oh, Anne.
But what Anne did not know was that one day she would remember those words, because life had a lesson waiting for her, a lesson that would change her forever. If you love emotional stories that stay with you long after they end, then you're in the right place. Subscribe now, because the stories on this channel are not just told, they are felt.
Today's story is about Anne, a girl who had everything she wanted, but never understood the value of what she had. She believed happiness came from expensive clothes, fancy restaurants, and showing people that she was living a perfect life. She never saved. She never planned. She never thought about tomorrow. Until one day, tomorrow came. And it came with a lesson she never expected.
This is the story of Anne the spendthrift. Anne was the kind of person who could enter a shop with no intention of buying anything and somehow leave carrying 5 bags. Nobody understood how she did it, not even herself. Anne, you said you were only going to look around. Her best friend Lisa stared at the shopping bags in disbelief. Anne looked at the bags and shrugged. I was looking around and these things followed me home. Lisa rolled her eyes. Followed you home? Did the shoes walk themselves into your house? Anne laughed. Exactly. They chose me. Lisa shook her head. You need help. But Anne only smiled. She loved that feeling.
The feeling of walking into a store and buying whatever caught her attention. A new dress, she bought it. A new phone case, she bought it. A luxury meal she saw online, she ordered it. Even when she already had something similar, Anne would say, mine is different. And somehow, she always found a reason.
Anne was 25 years old and worked in a good company. She earned enough money to live comfortably. The problem was, Anne lived like she was earning 10 times more. Her salary would enter on Friday. By Saturday morning, half of it had already disappeared. And by the end of the month, she would be sitting on her bed staring at her empty account. Where did my money go? She always asked herself. But the truth was simple. Her money did not disappear. Anne helped it leave. One afternoon, Anne went out with her friends. They entered an expensive restaurant. The prices on the menu made Lisa's eyes widen. Anne, are we eating food or are we buying the whole restaurant? Anne laughed loudly. Stop being dramatic. Lisa whispered, Girl, this food better come with a car. Everyone laughed. But Anne did not care. She wanted the best table, the best meal, the best pictures. When the bill came, Lisa looked nervous. Anne, this is too much. Anne confidently took out her card. Don't worry, I got it. Her friends smiled. Anne is the best. And those words were exactly what she loved hearing. The problem was, she was paying for love she never owned. That night, when Anne arrived home, her mother was sitting in the living room. Anne, did your salary come in? Anne stopped. Why? Her mother looked at her seriously. Because I asked you last month and you said you would start saving. Anne quickly looked away. Mum, I am saving. Her mother raised an eyebrow. Really? Yes. What did you save? Anne became quiet. Then she smiled.
My memories. Her mother stared at her. Anne, I'm joking. But her mother did not laugh. She knew her daughter. Anne, one day you will understand. Money is not only for today. You have to think about tomorrow. Anne sat down. Mum, you always think something bad will happen. Her mother replied softly, No, I just know life changes. But Anne was not listening. She believed her mother was being too serious. Because Anne had always been lucky. Whenever she needed something, somehow she got it. Until the day luck stopped answering. A few weeks later, Anne received an unexpected message at work. Meeting with management tomorrow morning. She did not think much about it. She even went shopping after work. Another dress, another pair of shoes, another expensive dinner. Because in Anne's mind, there was always more money coming. But the next morning changed everything. Anne walked into the office smiling. She sat down. Her manager looked uncomfortable. Anne, please sit. She laughed nervously. Why does everyone look so serious? Nobody answered. Then her manager finally spoke. The company is going through changes. Anne's smile slowly disappeared. What kind of changes? He looked at the papers in front of him. Your position has been affected. Anne froze. I don't understand. We are sorry, Anne. Your employment is ending. The room became silent. For the first time in years, Anne had no words. No shopping, no expensive restaurant, no card to swipe. Just silence. As she packed her things, her co-workers watched. Some looked sorry, some looked surprised. But Anne felt something she had never felt before. Fear. Outside the building, she held her handbag tightly. The same handbag she bought just days earlier. And for the first time, she looked at it differently. Because it suddenly did not feel like a prize. It felt like a mistake. She opened her banking app. Her heart dropped. The balance was almost nothing. Anne whispered, No, this cannot be happening. She checked again. Same result. She remembered all the times her mother warned her, all the times Lisa told her, all the times she laughed. And then she said the words she never thought she would say. What have I done? But the hardest part was still coming. Because losing her job was only the beginning. The real lesson was about to start. For the first time in her life, Anne woke up and did not know what to do. Normally, mornings were simple. She would wake up, check her phone, scroll through social media, look at new fashion trends, and start planning what she would buy next. But that morning was different. Her phone was still in her hand. Her expensive bed was still comfortable. Her beautiful room was still full of things she had bought. But something felt empty. Because for the first time, she was afraid. Anne opened her banking app again. She stared at the numbers. Is this a mistake? She refreshed the page. Same balance. She laughed nervously. Maybe the app is broken. Her mother sat beside her. Anne? And then Anne finally said the words. Mum, I lost my job. Her mother became silent, not because she was angry, but because she already knew this day would come. Oh, my daughter. Anne looked down. I don't know what I'm going to do. Her mother gently held her hand. The same thing I have been telling you for years. Anne closed her eyes. Mum, please don't say I told you so. Her mother sighed. I'm not saying that. I am saying that this is your chance to learn. But Anne was not ready to hear it. She stood up. I will find another job. And she believed she would, because Anne had always depended on quick solutions. If something was wrong, she bought something new. If she was sad, she spent money. If she was stressed, she went shopping. But now, shopping could not save her, because there was nothing left to spend. The first week was not too bad. Anne was confident. I'll get a job soon, she told Lisa over the phone. Lisa tried to encourage her. Of course you will, but until then, be careful with your spending. Anne laughed weakly. Don't worry, I have changed. Lisa smiled. Really? Yes. And you said that last year when you bought a designer bag with your rent money. Anne became quiet. Then they both laughed. But deep down, Lisa was worried, because she knew Anne's biggest problem was not money. It was her relationship with money. 2 weeks passed. No job. 3 weeks passed. Still nothing. Anne started selling some of her things. First the shoes, then the bags, then the clothes she had bought but never even worn. It hurt. Not because she loved the items, but because she was finally seeing something clearly. All those things she thought made her important could not help her now. One evening, Anne was cleaning her room when she found an old notebook. She opened it. It was from years ago. Inside were her old goals. Save money, start a business, help my family. Anne stared at the pages. She remembered the girl she used to be, a girl with dreams, a girl who wanted to build something. Somewhere along the way, she had replaced her dreams with shopping bags. For the first time, tears filled her eyes. What happened to me? The next morning, Anne decided to visit her old workplace to collect some documents. While she was there, she met her former colleague, David. Anne? She turned around. David? He smiled. How have you been? Anne forced a smile. Good. But David noticed. You don't look good. She laughed. Thank you. Very encouraging. David laughed. I mean, you look tired. Anne looked away. After a moment, she finally admitted. I'm struggling. David listened. Then he said something she did not expect. Anne, you know, you were actually very talented. She looked at him. Were? I mean, you are, but you always spent your energy trying to look successful instead of becoming successful. His words hurt because they were true. Anne looked down. I thought people cared about those things. David nodded. Some people do, but the right people care about who you are. Those words stayed with her. That evening, Anne made a decision. She took a piece of paper. At the top, she wrote, My new life. Then she wrote, Stop spending money to impress people. Learn to budget. Save before spending. Build a future. She looked at the list. It was simple. But for Anne, It was the beginning of everything. Days turned into weeks. Anne started changing. Not suddenly, not perfectly, but slowly. She learned to cook instead of ordering expensive meals. The first time she cooked, her mother looked at the food carefully. "Anne, are you sure this is safe?" Anne laughed. "Mum." Her mother smiled. "I'm just surprised." Anne shook her head. "Even you don't believe in me." "I believe in you. I'm just shocked the kitchen finally met you." They both laughed. And for the first time in months, Anne felt happy without spending anything. She also started looking for work differently. Before, she only wanted jobs that looked impressive. Now, she wanted opportunities. She attended interviews. She learned new skills. She became humble. And one day, she received a call. "Hello, Anne. We reviewed your application. We would like to invite you for another interview." She wore a simple outfit. Nothing flashy, nothing designed to impress. Just something that represented the new Anne. Her mother watched her from the doorway. "You look different." Anne smiled. "I feel different." Her mother walked closer. "I'm proud of you." Those words meant more than any compliment Anne had ever received. Because for the first time, she was not chasing approval from strangers. She was building trust with the people who truly loved her. When Anne arrived at the company, she sat in the waiting area. Other candidates were there too. Some looked confident, some looked nervous. Old Anne would have compared herself to them. She would have looked at their clothes and judged their success. But the new Anne simply smiled. Everyone had a story. Everyone was fighting their own battle. A few minutes later, her name was called. "Anne?" She stood up. "Yes." She entered the interview room. And sitting across from the table was someone she never expected to see. "Mr. Daniel?" Daniel looked surprised too. "Anne?" Years ago, Daniel had been one of the people who tried to warn her. He was a hard-working employee who always saved money and planned for the future. Anne used to laugh at him. "You work so hard. You should enjoy life." Daniel would smile and say, "Enjoying life today is good, but destroying tomorrow is not." Back then, Anne thought he was boring. Now, she understood. Daniel looked through her application. "I must admit, Anne, I was surprised to see your name." Anne lowered her eyes. "I know. Last time I saw you, you were focused on showing everyone what you had." Anne nodded. "I was. And now?" Anne took a deep breath. "Now, I'm focused on becoming someone I can respect." The room became quiet. Daniel looked at her carefully. He could tell she was not pretending. She had changed. After the interview, Anne went home. She did not celebrate. She did not go shopping. She simply waited. And that was something the old Anne could never do. She had always wanted instant happiness, instant attention, instant satisfaction. But life had taught her patience. 2 days later, her phone rang. She looked at the number. Her heart started beating faster. "Hello? Hello, Anne? We are calling to let you know," she held her breath, "that we would like to offer you the position." For a moment, she could not speak. Then tears filled her eyes. Not because of the salary, not because of the title, but because she knew this was proof. she had changed. When Anne returned home, her mother saw her face. She immediately stood up. What happened? Anne smiled. I got the job. Her mother hugged her. I knew you could do it. Anne held her tightly. Mum, yes? Thank you for not giving up on me. Her mother smiled. A mother does not give up on her child. She waits for her to find her way. Months passed. Anne became successful again. But this time, success looked different. She saved money. She planned. She invested. She helped her family. And most importantly, she stopped using money to prove her value. People noticed the change. One day, Lisa visited her. She looked around Anne's new apartment. Everything was simple, beautiful, peaceful. Lisa smiled. I'm shocked. Anne laughed. Why? Because old Anne would have bought everything expensive in this room. Anne smiled. Old Anne was trying to impress everyone. And new Anne? Anne looked around. New Anne is grateful. A few months later, Anne attended an event. There were many successful people there. She was talking with some guests when she saw someone familiar. A former friend who used to admire her expensive lifestyle. The woman looked surprised. Anne? Yes? I heard you lost everything. Anne smiled. I did. The woman looked confused. But now you seem happier than before. Anne nodded. Because I found something money could never buy. What? Peace. The woman became silent. Because she understood. Anne had not just rebuilt her bank account. She had rebuilt herself. That night, Anne went home and opened her old notebook. The one with her old dreams. She looked at the first page. Save money. Start a business. Help my family. She smiled. Because those dreams were no longer forgotten. She had finally become the person she once wanted to be. Anne closed the notebook and whispered, Thank you, God, for the lesson. Years later, Anne became someone who taught others about financial responsibility. She shared her story openly, not to show how successful she was, but to show people how easily a person can lose themselves. She always told people, money is a tool. It can build your future or destroy it. The choice is in how you use it. And every time she said those words, she remembered the girl she used to be. A girl who thought happiness could be bought. A girl who learned the hard way that true wealth begins inside.
Subscribe for more amazing stories. Please like and comment. Till next time. Bye.